Hello friends, hope you are doing good. Welcome to my channel Anatomy. Please subscribe and press the bell icon for regular updates. And today we are going to discuss about the anatomy of soft palate and also hard palate in detail under following headings. First we will see the introduction parts, the presenting parts of the soft palate, then structure of soft palate, palatine aponeurosis, then muscles of soft palate, nerve supply, blood supply, and most importantly the applied aspects. The question will arise in your mind why we should know about the anatomy of soft palate. So the answer is here. You can see on the left side the newborn or a young baby is having cleft lip and cleft palate. On the right side you are seeing cleft palate. So to diagnose these kind of congenital anomalies and to repair them, we should have the accurate anatomical knowledge of soft palate. Coming to the palate, it lies within the superior alveolar arches and it forms the partition between the roof of oral cavity and floor of nasal cavity. On the nasal side covered by respiratory mucosa, on the oral side covered by this gustatory mucosa it is, and it is arched. It is not a horizontal partition, it is a arched partition. It is arched anteroposteriorly and side to side, and it consists of two parts. The anterior 2/3 is bony, it is known as hard palate, that you can see there, and the posterior 1/3 is muscular or fibromuscular, that is soft palate, you can see. And this hard palate presents the transverse striation in the anterior part. Coming to the soft palate, it is the mucus covered fibromusculoglandular curtain. So it has fibers, muscles and glands. It hangs from the posterior margin of the hard palate. It extends backwards and downwards, separating this nasopharynx from the oropharynx that we have discussed in the pharynx. Please go and refer the previous video on the anatomy of pharynx. And you can see there the soft palate is visible with the midline projection called as uvula. And this soft palate is roughly quadrilateral. You can see you are seeing the oral side here because it forms the partition between the oral cavity and oropharynx also. You can see, so that is the midline projection called as uvula. So this is the oral surface what you are seeing. So it is roughly quadrilateral. When it is relaxed, it is quadrilateral. You can see that. And now we will see how it forms a partition between the oral cavity and the nasal cavity. You can see here, that is the bony palate or hard palate what you are seeing lying within the alveolar arches formed anterior 2/3. In the anterior 2/3 is formed by the palatine process of the maxilla, and posterior 1/3 is by the horizontal process of the palatine bone, and the a fibromusculoglandular curtain hangs from the posterior margin of hard palate there, that you can appreciate when you see here. So it forms the partition between the nasal cavity and oral cavity. If you now you are seeing the bony palate there, and now you can see the soft palate is behind there, and you can see you can see anterior 2/3 is hard palate, posterior is soft palate, and if you take out the bony palate you are seeing the respiratory mucosa there. So above it is covered by respiratory mucosa and below by the oral mucosa. It forms a arched partition between the floor of nasal cavity and roof of oral cavity. Again you can see here, you are seeing a midline bell-like projection there, that is uvula part of the soft palate, that is the hard palate. You can see covered by oral mucosa here, and those are the muscles of soft palate covered by mucosa. It has also fibrous framework with palatine glands. That's why it is defined as fibromusculoglandular curtain. So you can see here that the anterior 2/3 is hard palate, whereas posterior 1/3 is soft palate, and it runs downwards and backwards, separating the nasopharynx and oropharynx. So as I told you, the three structures, anterior 1/3 is fibrous, middle 1/3 is muscular, posterior 1/3 is glandular. And what is the function of soft palate? It is involved in deglutition speech and blowing of air through the mouth by closing pharyngeal isthmus. And in this picture, you'll get the glandular part, fibrous part, and muscular part. So it has a composite structure. It is a fibro-musculo-glandular structure, and you can see the mucosa covering the hard palate. In the anterior part, you are seeing transverse palatine folds. If you roll your tongue just behind your incisors in the upper jaw, you can feel the transverse palatine folds. And as we already discussed, its shape is roughly quadrilateral. You can see the green colored area there. That is soft palate. It presents two surfaces, oral and pharyngeal. You can say anterior and posterior. Four borders, upper, lower, and two lateral borders. That is upper border, superior border, and two lateral border with the wall of pharynx, and curved inferior border with the midline projection called as uvula. You can see there. And this is the oral surface, what you are seeing here. So what are the surfaces? Two surfaces, anterior surface or oral surface. It is concave, directed downwards and forwards, presents a median raphe. And posterior surface is convex, directed backwards and upwards, forms the anterior boundary of pharyngeal isthmus, which separates the nasopharynx from oropharynx. You can see here the anterior surface is here, or oral surface. It is concave, that you can see, directed downwards and backwards towards the base of tongue. And a posterior surface is convex, directed upwards and backwards towards the nasopharynx. And coming to the borders, upper border or superior border, it is attached to the posterior margin of hard palate, whereas two lateral borders are attached to the lateral wall of pharynx. And lower border is free, presents a median bell-like projection, that is uvula. You can see there the anterior upper border is there, lower border is free. And again in this posterior view, you can see upper, lateral, and inferior borders and this posterior surface. This is when it is relaxed. And from the base of the uvula, two mucosal folds extend downwards on each side and forming anterior and posterior pillars of the tonsillar fossa. Anterior fold contains the peltoglossus muscle, it is called as peltoglossal arch. Posterior fold contains the peltopharyngeus muscle, peltopharyngeal arch. You can see that uvula. This is a peltoglossal arch on the left side, left peltopharyngeal arch, and you can see the left palatine tonsil. So these two arches form the tonsillar fossa, pillars of tonsillar fossa. This is the right peltoglossal arch, right peltopharyngeal arch, right palatine tonsil. So this peltoglossal arch is involved in the formation of pharyngeal isthmus, which separates the oropharynx from oral cavity, that we have discussed. Coming to the structure, so it consists of the oral surface. It is a bilaminar mucosal fold. Respirator side aligned by the respiratory epithelium, oral side aligned by the oral epithelium. It contains the fibrous framework, aponeurosis, then 5 pairs of muscles, palatine glands, vessels and nerves. You can see there. Respirator side, respiratory mucosa. This is the oral side, what you are seeing, lined by the oral mucosa, that is stratified squamous non-keratinized epithelium. And you can see the peltoglossal and peltopharyngeal muscle are covered by mucosa, forming the arches. And you can see histologically, when you see the soft palate there, the nasal side, pseudo-stratified ciliated columnar epithelium. Oral side, you obviously stratified squamous non-keratinized epithelium. And it also has some fibers, collagen fibers, palatine glands, and muscles. 5 pairs of muscles are there in the palate, this soft palate. So coming to the palatine aponeurosis, it is the fibrous framework of the soft palate where all the palatal muscles are attached. There are 5 pairs of muscles attached to fibrous framework called as palatine aponeurosis. It is a modified tendon of the tensor veli palatary muscle attached anterior to the posterior margin and undersurface of the hard palate up to palatine crest, that you have discussed in the osteology. On each side is contains with the tendon of tensor veli palati. In the midline, it is split by the musculus ovale. You can see there how it is attached to the, on the left side diagram, it is showing the attachment to the hard palate, that is posterior nasal spine and posterior concentric margin of the hard palate, and just in front of it you will see a bony projection, that is palatine crest, and here you can see the greenish quadrilateral structure, that is palatine aponeurosis. You are seeing the posterior view here. You can see how the tensor veli palatini muscle coming from above expanded and hooking around the pterygoid hamulus of the medial pterygoid plate to form this sheet. So what are the 5 muscles? Levator veli palatini, tensor veli palatini, musculus ovale, palatopharyngeus, palatoglossus. 2 muscles come from above and end in palate. Their name also ends in palate. 2 muscles come from palate, then their name starts with palate. So musculus ovale, palatoglossus, palatopharyngeus muscles, palatoglossus and palatopharyngeus, they begin from palate, whereas from above 2 muscles will come there, that is tensor palatini, how it is expanding into sheet. You can see there. Levator veli palatini, medial muscle, they come from above and their name ends in palate. So these are the artery tubes. You can see these are the muscle arrangement of the soft palate. 2 come from above, tensor veli palatini, levator veli palatini, and insert into palate. 2 muscle arise from palate, palatopharyngeus and palatoglossus. You can see there. The muscle come from the base of the skull, tensor veli palatini and levator veli palatini. You can see there. So 2 muscle come from above, 2 muscle arise from palate and go below. So 2 muscle coming from above are tensor veli palatini and levator veli palatini, and 2 muscle coming from originating from the soft palate are palatoglossus and palatopharyngeus. 1 muscle within the soft palate is musculus ovale. You can see the different muscles here of the soft palate, that is tensor veli palatini, levator. You can see there, that is palatopharyngeus and salpingopharyngeus muscles. So remember the 5 pairs of muscles of the soft palate. And coming to levator veli palatini, it arises from the undersurface of the apex of petrous temporal bone, carotid sheath, median lamina of the artery tube, and insert to the upper surface of the palatine aponeurosis between anterior and posterior fasciculus of the palatopharyngeus. The name itself says it is a levator veli palatini. It elevates the palate during the deglutition so that the food won't regurgitate from the oropharynx to nasopharynx. So it comes from the medial lamina of the artery tube there and passes medial to medial pterygoid plate and inserts into the fibrous framework of the soft palate, that is palatine aponeurosis. You can see there the medial muscle coming from the apex of the petrous temporal bone from a quadrilateral area that we have discussed in the osteology. Please go and see that video again, norma basalis, that is tensor veli palatini, lateral to the levator veli palatini. You can see that is tensor veli palatini. You are seeing there how it is forming the fibrous framework, and this is levator veli palatini coming to the medial side from the apex of petrous temporal bone and inserting into the fibrous framework. Action is it elevates the palate so that it closes the pharyngeal isthmus, separating the nasopharynx from the oropharynx during deglutition. Next is tensor veli palatini. It's a triangular muscle also called as dilated tubae. It takes origin from the scaphoid fossa of medial pterygoid plate, lateral fibrous lamina of artery tube, spine of sphenoid. It runs downwards and medially by hooking around the pterygoid hamulus. You can see there. It comes from the lateral side of the medial pterygoid plate, whereas levator veli palatini is medial side of the medial pterygoid plate. This muscle hooks around the pterygoid hamulus and forms a quadrilateral fibrous framework called as palatine aponeurosis. It tenses the palate, it stretches the palate and also helps in closing the pharyngeal isthmus and separating the oropharynx from nasopharynx during deglutition. You can see from the lateral lamina, it hooks around that this pterygoid hamulus and how it forms the fibrous framework. And when you see the origin of the tensor veli palatini, it takes origin from the scaphoid fossa, that is upper part of the posterior margin of medial pterygoid plate. You can see there, that is scaphoid fossa, and it hooks around the medial pterygoid plate hook, that is called as the pterygoid hamulus. And next is this midline muscle called as musculus ovale. It splits the palatal aponeurosis. So it comes from the posterior nasal spine of the hard palate, runs backwards and downwards, and inserts into the submucous tissue of the uvula. The green colored structure is uvula. It inserts there. That's why it's called as musculus uvulae. So it pushes the uvula anteriorly, and you can see tensor lepalti and levator lepalti, musculus uvulae. That is uvula. So tensor lepalti, levator lepalti come from the base of skull and ends in palate. That's why their name also ends in palate. Whereas musculus uvulae is a midline muscle. It begins and ends in palate. And the two inferior muscles are now palatopharyngeus and palatoglossus. Palatopharyngeus takes origin from the superior part of the palatal aponeurosis by two fasciculi. Anterior fasciculi come from hard part and upper part of the aponeurosis. Posterior fasciculi come from lower part of the superior surface of the aponeurosis. It goes and insert into the posterior border of the lamina of third cartilage along with other muscles. It is a muscle of both pharynx and palate. You can see that is the palatopharyngeus. The green color area what you are seeing, that is the horizontal fibers of palatopharyngeus forming the pharyngeal isthmus. So some fibers will run transversely there. They sweep horizontally directed backwards under the mucosa of Passavant's ridge to form pharyngeal isthmus. So soft palate will move backwards and join with this fold to close the pharyngeal isthmus, separating the nasopharynx from oropharynx. That is the black arrow is indicating the mucosal fold, that is Passavant's ridge. That fold is because of the horizontal fibers of palatopharyngeus. So you will notice that is pharyngeal isthmus. You can see here how does palatopharyngeus takes origin. It has two fasciculus, anterior and posterior. Anterior come from the hard palate and also upper part of the posterior surface of palatal aponeurosis. You can see there anterior and posterior fasciculi. Posterior fasciculi come from the lower part of the superior surface of palatal aponeurosis. So these two fasciculi join and run, and this palatopharyngeus also forms the posterior pillar of the tonsillar fossa. So it goes and inserts into the posterior border of the lamina of third cartilage, and it elevates the pharynx during deglutition. That is the palatopharyngeal palatoglossal arch. You can notice there palatoglossal arch is formed by palatoglossus muscle that we see next. You can see the course of palatopharyngeus. This is like this. This green colored area is palatopharyngeus. In the previous diagram, we have seen the horizontal fibers or transverse fibers of palatopharyngeus. Next, coming to palatoglossus, name itself says it comes from palate, goes to tongue, arises from the inferior surface of palatal aponeurosis, runs downwards and forwards, forming the anterior pillar of tonsillar fossa, and inserts onto the side of the tongue at the junction of anterior 2/3 and posterior 1/3. You can see there it forms the anterior pillar of the tonsillar fossa. You can see. Yes, this is a tonsillar fossa. Posterior is formed by palatopharyngeus, anterior is formed by palatoglossus, and that is fossa, lodging the palatine tonsil there. So palatoglossus, palatopharyngeus, they take origin from the palate. That's why their name begins with the palate. Muscle coming from palate going to tongue is palatoglossus. Muscle coming from palate going to pharynx is palatopharyngeus. Whereas the above two muscle end in palate. That's why their name also ends in palate. Tensor uvulae palatini, levator uvulae palatini. You can see this is the function of palatoglossus. It raises the base of the tongue during deglutition. Whereas palatopharyngeus, it raises the pharynx during deglutition. So palatoglossus, now you can all summarize. On the right side you can see tensor uvulae palatini, levator uvulae palatini, salpingopharyngeus, it's a pharyngeal muscle. The ventral part of the palatopharyngeus and dorsal part, superior constrictor, transverse part of the palatopharyngeus forming Passavant's ridge. So you can remember the muscles like this. Make your hand like this by hand model. Join your two thumbs, they form musculus uvulae, and your ring finger forms the levator uvulae palatini, little finger forms the tensor uvulae palatini, index forms the palatoglossus, and middle forms the palatopharyngeus. Hold your hand like this, two coming from above, two going below, one in the midline, that is musculus uvulae. And this hand model is is proposed by Dr. D. Vijaya Govindarajan. Thanks to him. So to remember the soft palate muscles, it is very easy way to remember all the muscles. And coming to nerve supply, all the muscles of soft palate are supplied by cranial part of external nerve through pharyngeal plexus except tensorial palatini. Why? Because it's a derivative of first arch, so it should be supplied by the mandibular nerve. And secretomotor fibers to the glands arise from trigopalatine ganglion and reach via greater and lesser palatine nerves via greater and lesser palatine foramina. General sensation like hot, cold, solid or liquid is carried by the greater palatine, lesser palatine, glossopharyngeal nerve and long spinopalatine nerves. Taste sensation is carried by the lesser palatine glossopharyngeal nerves. You can see there the greater palatine nerve supplying the both soft palate and hard palate by coming through the greater palatine foramina there. So greater palatine nerve and lesser palatine nerves, they are branches of trigopalatine ganglion. Coming to the blood supply, the greater palatine branch of maxillary artery, ascending palatine branch of the facial artery, palatine branch of ascending pharyngeal artery, they all supply that. Pharyngeal plexus drains it, and lymphatic drainage is by the deep cervical lymph nodes. You can see greater palatine artery supplying both palate and this nasal septum there. And coming to the palate, there will be palatal paralysis in case of diphtheria. There will be pseudomembrane formation. You can appreciate there membrane formation over the mucosa there. And congenital anomalies like cleft palate and cleft lip, they affect the palate here. So to understand this, you should know the development, and that is one more bifid uvula or submucosal cleft of the palate. You can also remember that as bifid uvula, you can see there. So coming to development of palate, the palate develops from the three parts, that is premaxilla, or you can say primary palate, secondary palate. Primary palate is formed by this medial nasal process, the yellow structure, joining with the maxillary process, that is green structure. They form premaxilla, triangular structure carrying the four incisors, and that is there. You can see on either side it is joining with the maxilla to form the premaxilla or primary palate, and it is joined posteriorly by the horizontal process of the maxilla. You can see here horizontal or you can say palatine process of the maxilla from either side, and it is joined by the horizontal process of the palatine bone. You can see that is a premaxilla formed by median nasal process with joining with maxillary process, yellow with green, and then these two process from the maxilla, they come in the midline, join with the nasal septum above, and they join with each other across intermaxillary suture. And posterior 1/3 is formed by the horizontal process of the palatine bones. You can see there, and you can see greater palatine and lesser palatine foramina affecting that part of the palate, and these will ossify in membrane and form hard palate. So remaining part behind the hard palate, it remains unossified, that forms soft palate. So hard palate is formed by the ossification of all these processes within membrane, whereas posterior 1/3 or which is not ossified is forming the soft palate. You can see the normal palate there, and this is a cleft palate beginning from uvula, cleft to soft palate, or cleft of both soft palate and hard palate, cleft of both soft and hard, and involving the lip also. So cleft lip with cleft palate is a very common congenital condition, and you can see, and it is repaired by plastic surgeons. And India, they have now a smile train program for these conditions. Thank you. Hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching.